Hello, co-artisans. My name is Shonda, and welcome to my channel, Under the Needle. So, I know my hair is looking a little different. I'm doing some experimenting. I'll talk about that. Well, I'll talk about it. So basically, I don't know how much you guys know about black hair, but mine used to be relaxed. It still kind of is. And basically, when you relax your hair, it literally just relaxes the protein bonds in the hair, making it finer, more manageable, and more stretched out. It changes the texture, softens it. It's also, there are chemicals involved, and sometimes those chemicals can be really harsh, and they can damage the hair. Now, a lot of the people that I know that no longer get their hair relaxed, it's usually because they relax or damage their hair, or just because they just decided that they wanted to wear their natural hair texture. Neither one of those things happened to me. I never really as long as I was relatively nice to my hair, I could pretty much relax my hair and not have any issues. When I was younger, I used to relax every 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks, I would get it done. You just get it on the new growth up here, and so that's what I did. And then it can be damaging. It can be drying. So eventually, I did that 8 or 10 weeks. And as time went by and my hair got more trained, I would do, like 10 to 12 weeks, maybe even up to 14 weeks. But I hit menopause and my hair got thinner. And I started, having some edge issues. I started losing some hair at the edges, which I don't know if that was menopause exactly, or if that was just me constantly putting my hair up in a ponytail every day. Whereas when I went to work every day, I seldom put my hair in ponytails, and I would generally wear it straight every day. So I think just when 2020 came and just constantly everyday ponytail, I did start having some edge loss. It could be a combination of ponytails and menopause and lack of protein. It could be a lot of things, but I started trying to grow those back. And so I started getting my relaxer like every 6 months, every 4, 5, 6 months. And just to kind of get my hair back to healthy, because I just didn't treat it really well during the pandemic. Not have, when you got to go to work every day, you got to look a certain way every day, especially when you're, I was in like a professional environment, and so I felt like a responsibility to, make sure everything was kept up well. Well, during the pandemic, it was kind of like, whatever happens to this hair happens, because I'm not going anywhere. And I wasn't very kind to my hair, and I did have some damage and some hair loss and things like that. And plus I lost some weight, and there was a lot going on. So I decided to get my perms further apart, because just to help bring my hair back, right? Because the chemicals in the relaxer are damaging, and I wanted to help revitalize my hair. So I started stretching them out. And so it got to be, it was like June, right? And I was like, oh, I need to get my hair relaxed, because, our party is coming up the 4th of July, and I usually like to get it freshly relaxed. And I also like to get it relaxed for the summer because it's straighter. Like, I usually like to get it kind of fresh before the summer, so that, when I'm in the pool, my hair is more manageable when I come out for washing, blow drying, and all that stuff. And then I looked at my calendar to see when was my last relaxer, and it was November. So that's December, January, February, March, April, May, June. So I had already gone 7 months. And so instead of getting it relaxed again, I decided to get it braided. And those were the braids that you saw in my hair. And so I've taken the braids out, and because I'm going to get it redone in a week. And so I want to kind of give my hair a break before I get it rebraided. So that's what I'm doing here. So I'm wearing a little wig to, so I look kind of decent, because right now my hair is just in 2 ponytails while I condition it. So I threw this sucker on. So right now I'm doing something called transitioning, which is where we transition our hair from being relaxed into growing it into our natural texture. Now, am I going to transition successfully? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I figure if I can get through the rest of the summer, get through the rest of the hot months, and get to winter time, that I might be able to, because at that point I'll be almost a year in. So I'm going to see what happens. Am I married to the idea of completely transitioning and going to my natural hair texture? No, I'm not. Is it possible that I might decide to re-relax it in the future? Yeah. I never had an issue with relaxer. I like the creamy crack. That's what we call it, creamy crack. I don't have a problem with it. So might I go back? Maybe. But right now my hair it's just not as thick as it used to be. My hair was just, one of the reasons why I always relaxed was because my hair was just very thick and I just did not have the time. Like even dealing with my relaxed hair was a lot especially in my 20s. So the idea of dealing with my natural texture just did not appeal to me. I didn't have the time. I don't have the time. I had 3 kids. I don't have time to spend 3-4 hours washing my hair. I got it to where I could wash and blow dry my hair in an hour, wash, blow dry, and flat iron in an hour and a half to 2 hours, as opposed to having to go through these rigorous, I don't know. So that's what I'm doing. So my hair is going to be looking a little different until I figure out what I want to do with it on a permanent basis. But this is what we got now. So I'm thankful for versatility. I'm thankful for, wigs. I'm thankful for all of these things that have come out to make dealing with your natural hair a little easier. Also, I will say that relaxed hair is cheaper. It is way cheaper for me to go get a relaxer than it is for me to go have somebody put some braids in. I can get a relaxer for $85. I can't get braids for that. So I think that last style, those braids you saw, that cost me about $185. And my next style is going to cost me, well, more than that. But that's a treat for my birthday. We'll see how it comes out. I hope I like it. Only thing about all those braids is that they are heavy on the head. It's just a lot of hair to deal with. I'm not used to it. So we'll see. But I am thankful that the natural hair industry has come a long way to make it a lot easier to deal with your natural hair should you decide to switch from being relaxed to going to your natural hair texture. So I'm grateful for that. I'm also thankful for having the time now to do that, right? Because I'm not getting up in the morning at, 6:30 or 7 a.m. or whatever time to get up, get dressed, comb my hair, do all that stuff, pack my lunch. I don't have to spend that time. I also don't have to spend that hour commuting home. So I've got time. And so I'm going to give this a shot. We'll see how it goes. I make no guarantees. So I also have a little bit of a haul. I did a little shopping at Missouri Star. I also have a quilt top and pattern that I want to talk about. So I'll talk about the pattern first, and then I will show you guys what I purchased. You just saw a glimpse of it right there. And I'll tell you what I've been up to. So this pattern, we got it in the Open Gate Quilt subscription box, which I'm a fan of, and it's called Spinner. I've told y'all 10,000 times that my sewing area is a mess, so expect to see some mess when I flip this camera. Oh, it's not that bad. Okay. So this is the pattern. I bought the pattern a while back from Blueprint, but this is it here. And basically, this is a fat quarter pattern, and you're gonna pair up 2 fat quarters. You're gonna pair up 2 fat quarters that you like together, so it's better if they have some type of contrast, and you will get 2 blocks, right? So if you start with 10 fat quarters, you will get 10 blocks. If you start with 20 fat quarters, you will get 20 blocks. If you use 2 fat quarters, you will get 2 blocks. So you can kind of see how this is here. Now, I did enjoy this pattern. So I started this in 2020. 2020 is when I started this, right? And it might have been before that, because I believe I cut everything out first. And then after I cut everything out, I didn't start sewing it right away. But all the blocks, I started sewing the blocks together in 2020. it's possible that I started cutting this out in 2019. It's possible. Now, the way my brain works, when you look at this pattern, first of all, these blocks go together so easily because you can see that there's a large square in the middle. So that's a whole large square that doesn't have to be pieced. Also, if you look around the edges here, there are these, you get something I can point with a little better because sticking my finger in there changes the zoom, the focus. So, yeah, that's not gonna work. It's too short. Well, hopefully y'all can see. So there's a flying geese. There's a goose right here on every side. So that's 4 flying geese. Right? And then if you also look, there's some half square triangles. There's 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 8 half square triangles. So in the pattern, so sometimes I will do some adjusting, some pattern adjusting, to use the methods that I prefer to use and that work for me. I don't like to stitch and flip, and I don't like to make my half square triangles 2 at a time. So especially if I need them in multiples of 4. If I need them in multiples of 4 or 8, then I might as well make 4 at a time or 8 at a time. I prefer 4 at a time because it doesn't require me to draw any lines. So I converted this pattern a little bit. I did have to make sure that I had enough fabric in my fat quarters. So I did a little quilty math. I don't know, do I still have that around here somewhere? I got all this mess. I got out my trusty graph paper and I figured out, oh, that's a different pattern. I figured out, oh, that's a different pattern too. I figured out what size squares I would have to cut to use the 4 at a time method of making flying geese. And I used the Eleanor Burns method with waist, I believe. And then I figured out the size of the half square triangles that I needed. And then I figured out what size squares I would need to use to make them 4 at a time. And so then I kind of drew out using the lines, I kind of drew to scale the size of a fat quarter. And then I positioned those squares that I would need to cut in there to make sure that the pattern would work using different size cuts. And it did. And so that was great. So I cut everything out and it was great. It was great. It was great. I'm going to show you guys my quilt. I love that this is blue because it matches my house, but I started making it way before I ever painted anything. So I did not know that that was going to be the case. So these are my blocks. And the only reason I have a pin in here is so that I can remember which is the upper left-hand corner of the quilt. I don't know why I do that. I don't know why it's important to me. It really shouldn't matter, but I just like knowing that. So I'm going to show this whole sucker if I can. Oh, hold on. That's not going to work. You can see all 4 squares. It does need a press because I've had it sitting around. But I love how this came out. And this matches the tumbler quilt that I did. They're like the same colors. I think I had that folded up somewhere. Yeah, here it goes. But they're very similar in color scheme. So both of these are going to go in the living room. But you can kind of see that the color palette is extremely similar. So these are going to look great. Okay. So yeah, excited about that. Now, so I decided that since these, because I already had the backing for this quilt here, the spinner quilt, I already had the backing for this quilt that I had bought at the time. I have two yards here, and then I have another 2 yard cut because this quilt is 48 by 60. And but I decided that I kind of wanted to back them with Minky since they were going to be now going into the living room. I thought that would make them nice and cuddly and warm and kind of snuggly to be under. And so I went on the Missouri Star website just to kind of see what they had. And they had some great Minky, super cheap. So this is a 2 yard cut of Minky. And you can see there's 2 different colors of blue. So that's going to be kind of nice. I plan on using this one for the tumbler quilt. I think that'll be fun. And you can see this is also a 2 yard cut of Minky. So they're different thicknesses. This is 2 yards and this is 2 yards. Kind of crazy. So I'm going to end up, because initially, because Minky's so heavy, I wasn't going to use any batting. But I think I'm still probably not going to use any batting. And I think we're just going to have, oh, hold on 1 second there, guys. Apologies, somebody was at the door. So I still think I'm not going to use batting. Okay. Definitely not with this one. Because this is some hefty Minky. Like this is heavy just by itself. But I think even though this is like less than half the thickness, I'm still not sure if I want to use batting or not. Because I think what I might end up having is like more of a light summer blanket with this and the tumbler quilt, and then use this for this and have like a thicker winter quilt. So it's kind of hard to tell because I need to open this up. I mean, that's what I'll do. I'll just open it up. Oh, this is very thin. It looks great though. Let me see if I can show you guys how thin this is. So this is really, yeah, I think I'm going to keep this the way it is, and I'm going to put it on the tumbler quilt and quilt that. No batting, so it's really, really light. And then for this one, I'm still not going to use any batting. See if I can show you guys the different thicknesses. Here's one. Let's see if I can show them side by side. Oh shoot, this is double layered. Hold on. Okay. So the back part is the same, right? Kind of. But this one's a little bit thicker, which I guess it would have to be thicker because there's just more fluff here. But you can kind of see how thin this is and how thick this is. So I think I'm going to like that. I wasn't sure if I was going to like this pattern, but actually I really do. And I think it's going to look really good with this tumbler quilt to have those 2 blues. I'm going to love this. I might actually start quilting this like soon, like really, 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 really soon. So I'm not sure. Okay. Did you need to get something, honey? Okay. So, the last thing that I've been working on are my I got my sew sampler, my last sew sampler. I've got all of my I've matched the prints that I'm using to the prints that they're using. And then I made myself a chart because I have 3 blocks that I need to cut out. And I did not want to have to cut out each block separately. Like I said before, like the one thing I hate about a block of the month is that each month you got to pull out your background and pull out your prints and do all this individual cutting. You might only need 1 square from a print. And that just didn't really appeal to me to have to do that when I'm cutting out 3 blocks at once. So what I did is I went through blocks 3, 4, and 5, and I took the prints. Like these measurements aren't going to mean anything because you don't know what prints are what. But it's like, okay, this is fabric 1 and what I need to cut for fabric 1 for each block. This is fabric 8 and what I need to cut for fabric 8 of each block, fabric 10, and so on. So I can go ahead and cut that out. And I feel like it was going to be, yeah, did it take me, 20 minutes to write this down? Yeah. But I feel like I saved more than that by being able to just, okay, take out this background, cut all of this. This is for blocks 3, 4, and 5. I can have like 3 little Ziploc bags and break them apart. And then here's this fabric, that fabric, that fabric. So did it take a little time to do this? Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I saved more than that than having to do, like, let's pull out these 4 fabrics for block 3, iron them, put them away. These 4 fabrics for block 4, iron, and then put away, and then iron and cut for block 5 and put away. So I felt like this is going to be more efficient. I'm going to save myself some time. So I think that's it for me. That's all I've got. So yeah, I'm thankful that wearing my natural hair is a little bit more easy now due to the availability of styles. Like, 10 years ago, you couldn't just get a headband wig for $20. At least I don't think you could. I don't remember seeing them. I remember half wigs. I used to wear half wigs all the time, but yeah, so I'm thankful. I'm thankful that this hair care journey is going to be a little easier in our year, the Lord 2023, as opposed to how it would have been in 2000. And I've showed you guys what I'm working on, and I think that's it for me. And I'll see you guys next video.